So we're doing our first jazz album. How many times have you done heroin, Dave?
0.
Steve?
Does Oxycontin count?
If Oxycontin counts, then a couple. Prescription drugs for people who listen from work. I had surgery.
Sure, Dave.
I snorted it one time, and I hated it. And yeah, opiates aren't for me. I felt like I was sick, and David Cross does this impression of being on heroin. That's exactly what I felt like.
I know which one you're talking about. Where he's like talking about how like they don't want to sit down, so they're like standing up.
Yeah.
Oxycontin or oxycodone?
Oxycontin.
Okay. Because I've done codone, but I've never done oxycontin.
I think it was codone.
I've done because they used to give out like cough syrup with oxycodone in it.
Mm-hmm.
So one time when I was in I must have been like 15 or something like that. I used to, like when you're a kid, like cough syrup, I never fucking measured it out in a little cup. I always just took like a mouthful, right?
Yeah.
One time I had bronchitis, like really bad. So they gave me some oxy, or some cough syrup with oxycodone in it. And I was like, okay, I didn't know that it was like it was a prescription strength. So I took a mouthful of it. And that was at like 9:00. I lay down and I was watching TV. I got up. My feet were like dragging to go to I got up to like go to the bathroom. My feet were like dragging. I was like, I went to the bathroom and I'm like, I passed out on the bed. Like, I didn't even make it back into the covers. I just passed out. And I woke up at like 11 a.m. the next day. And I was supposed to be at school. And my mom was like calling me, like calling on the phone because she was at work. She was calling. She's like, "Where the hell are you?" And I'm like, she's like, "You're supposed to be at school." I'm not going to make it. But yeah, that was my one time. So I measured it out after that. So.
Did you get in trouble?
Did I get in trouble? No. My dad smacked me on the head and said, "Don't be a fucking idiot next time."
When I had the hernia surgery and was on Oxy because of that, I do remember waking up the morning after the morphine from the surgery itself had worn off and like a blinding amount of pain and also because the morphine wore out with just like the worst cotton mouth I've ever had. But I didn't notice that quite as much as like the blinding pain in my around my crotch area.
Yeah.
And so I stumbled into the bathroom, took an Oxy, and then just fell face first onto my pillow and
went back to
sleep. And then when I woke up several hours later, it's like, oh, this is fine.
Everything's fine
Yeah.
until it wore off, and then you're like, ah.
Yeah. So it does work. It does do what it's supposed to do, but it also has side effects.
Yeah, you gotta stay above that pain.
Yeah.
I remember they gave me Vicodin for when I had my wisdom teeth removed, and I was working at Come and Go at the time. Rest in peace. And
Sperm and squirm.
And I remember that being some very interesting work shifts because I was fucking high off my ass.
Oh, I took all the time that I was actively on painkillers off of work after surgery because it's like I'm not I'm not driving like this. Yeah.
Oh, back then I wouldn't miss work for anything. Now I'm like, oh, I guess I'm sick. I better stay home.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a little ticket. Oh,
But no, back then I used to. I don't
The
know.
temperature
I don't know why.
98.7.
Maybe it's just because I was poor, but I would take like every overtime shift and work long hours and shit. And of course, I didn't get rewarded for it because you don't.
got rewarded with being come and go employee of the month,
That shit was never acknowledged.
where they pose you on all fours, right, and give you a pat on the head.
I did use my overtime money to buy my heritage, though.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So tell your Kansas City story, Dave.
Yeah, my favorite experience listening to jazz was there's this really cool little bar in Kansas City called the Green Lady Lounge. And every night, just like you go there on a random weeknight and there's live jazz. There's a cover. Cover's pretty cheap.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And it's like a really cool, like little kind of dark cocktail bar. Like great ambiance. And they'll like have two different bands playing two different sets with a break in between. Well, each band gets a break between their sets for a while, but like any night you go there, you're just guaranteed to hear like live jazz, like on a Tuesday even. So yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go further, Sean, tap that other mic. Switch them around.
Am I gonna be really quiet?
Just for the cold open, it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll just have to turn it up a bit. But it probably still got you pretty good.
Is that better?
Look at the waveform.
That's what you get, bitch.
Feature me is delighted.
I'm sure you're going to be delighted by the jazz while smoking jazz cigarettes. Welcome to Side 1, Side B. I'm Dave.
I'm Steve.
And I'm 39-inch Sean.
How are you today, 39-inch Sean?
It's the burden of being me.
Yeah.
This is someone's first episode. They're going to be real confused with the day. No,
You're
Dave.
looking a little floppy today.
I'm Dave.
I'm Steve.
And I'm 1-inch Sean, sadly.
And Sean brought an album today.
I brought one of the greatest albums ever, probably. John Coltrane's A Love Supreme.
This is the first time we've done jazz.
This is the first jazz album. I'm a trendsetter. I can't even tell you what number of album this is in his discography, because jazz guys did a fuck ton of albums. Like, this is probably like his 18th album or something like that. They knocked him out like back in the day.
That's
and
kind of why I never got as into jazz as I have other genres. Like, I like it, but like I've never like tracked it down as much, just because it's like, where do I even fucking start? Yeah.
Yeah, it is a hard one to start, and I just kind of how I ended up starting even in it. I might start with how I kind of started on my jazz journey, because I just recently started on it, and I'll like, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah, I've dipped my toe in it. Like, I've listened to a lot of like Django Reinhardt. I've gotten to a period where I really like Charlie Christian, even though most of the stuff you find from him these days is like bootleg stuff, because he didn't live long enough to become like a band leader or anything. And I really liked the stories I heard about him and Benny Goodman, especially like somebody asked him why he employs those quote N words in his band, and Benny Goodman says, "If you say something like that to me again, I'm gonna knock you over the head with a trumpet or something like that."
So my kind of journey with this began with actually like collecting vinyl. I was looking at a list of like, you know, vinyl and like what people would recommend, like albums and stuff like that. And an album kept popping up, which was Miles Davis Kinda Blue, which is like one of the best selling jazz albums of all time. And also another one, which was Time Out by Dave Brubeck Quartet or whatever it is, or Quintet.
Yeah, one of the jazz albums I do own, in part because I heard it was really good, but in part because the name stood out to me is Miles Davis, Bitches Brew.
Oh yeah, Bitches Brew is great. I have that one as well. Well, actually, I have a lot of Miles Davis now. And actually, it's fitting that we're doing a John Coltrane. We should do a Miles Davis one too, but we might not get to it because. But Miles Davis and John Coltrane turn 100 this year if they were still alive. But it's like they're like doing a centennial thing for both Miles Davis and John Coltrane. But so I kept hearing Miles Davis Kinda Blue, and I'm like, it's jazz. And in the back of my head, I still thought of jazz as like Kenny G.
Yeah.
And from the 90s, like, you know, or the 80s or whatever, because like my dad listened to Kenny G.
Yeah.
Like Kenny G's like bullshit, whatever he had.
I really don't like the sound of the soprano saxophone either.
Yeah. And so like actually I like the soprano that he played.
Oh yeah.
Because Coltrane played soprano on My Favorite Things, and it sounds really good.
I'm sure like a good jazz player will do good with it, but I'm used to, like the overproduced 90s sound of like Kenny G on the soprano sax. It sounds really
cheesy.
Yeah. Sounds like elevator music. Yeah.
So that's kind of where, and so I kept hearing Kinda Blue, and so I just streamed it like the first time I listened to it. And I was like, okay, it's fine, So then I listened to it again, and then I listened to it again, and then I listened to it again. I'm like, okay, I need to hear some other jazz stuff. And then I heard Art Blakey's Moaning. And Art Blakey's Moaning is like hard bop, which is so there was bebop, and then it went to hard bop, and Moaning was kind of like the start of was not the start of hard bop, but it was like an influential one in hard bop. And there's this like in the middle of it, there's this huge drum solo that he does that's like just fucking killer and stuff. So then they were giving me hints with like when I started watching like YouTube's videos, and they were giving hints on how to follow jazz artists. Is like, if you look on records of jazz artists, you look at who played on the sessions.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Miles Davis Kinda Blue had Miles Davis, obviously, John Coltrane, Bill Evans, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, like all these huge guys. I might have been wrong on Paul Chambers. I'm not 100% sure. That's how you kind of start figuring out who to like maybe pick up a record where they were band leader. And like, that's kind of, so then I started picking up some Coltrane records. And I picked up more Miles Davis, Coltrane. I started picking up Art Blakey. And that's where I kind of started getting into jazz. So then I started hearing about this album, A Love Supreme by Coltrane. And most people would say, don't start with A Love Supreme. And I said, well, you know what? Fuck you. Because this was my first Coltrane album that I listened to. And I loved it. Like first listen, I was like, this is like mind blowing. And this was like a start of like spiritual jazz is what this is in the vein of spiritual jazz. So even though it's not like hard bop, it still has some elements of hard bop, and it still has some elements of modal jazz, which is what Kind of Lou was.
Mm-hmm.
And this was recorded in one session. They in 1965 or 1964, and he only played it a few times live. Like he never wanted to play it live. He only played it a few times live. A Love Supreme, because it was so like intimate and like what he felt about it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the story is like before he went and recorded it, he like locked himself upstairs in his attic and was like practicing or like figuring it out for like a month or something like that, and only come down for like meal times, is what his wife said at the time. And then like he finally like came down and said, I got it, and then went in and one day presented it to his band, and then they recorded it in one day with very few takes.
That's
Nice.
efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, jazz guys, very crazy, very efficient, very like that, and there's not many alternate takes on A Love Supreme. So
That's also like, and so much of it is like like the improvisation of it. I can really understand not wanting to just play the same stuff live. 'Cause
yeah,
it's like you already did it.
yeah. And I mean, like he had a few staples that he played live all the time. Like he
Yeah.
played My Favorite Things all the time live. He played some other ones, Impressions, which was a take on So What by Miles Davis. He had other ones that he played live, but for like he would never play, he just didn't do Love Supreme. And there's only like a few like 2 recordings of it that he played live, and that's are like the only 2 performances that are known that he did of A Love Supreme.
Cool.
And so yeah. So so yeah, the recording process of this was very sparse, and recording process of most jazz albums at the time were very like they would go in and have several sessions, but like I said, he only went in one day and that was it. And this is actually like they call it a suite because it's only 4 tracks. It's the only time he ever did the inside notes too. Like every other time, he never did any liner notes or anything for any of his other albums. This is the only album he did the liner notes for. So it's kind of like how much you can tell how much he actually wanted this album to be what it is.
Nice.
So tell us about the cover, Dave.
It is a black and white picture of John Coltrane looking a little bit contemplative, a little bit intense, but it's just like basically a headshot. I'm assuming it's the studio kind of behind him, but it's out of focus. It's just a very good portrait of him, and he's looking kind of straight ahead while the camera is to the side, so he's not even looking at the camera, just like deep in thought.
What those kids doing across the street?
Yeah. And it's kind of the same picture on the other side too.
Yeah. Yeah, very minimalistic in the design. Then on the inside, there's like looks like a charcoal drawing of him playing his sax, with a really long like note to the listener, and then there's like a poem or a psalm or something that says "A Love Supreme" written under it too. It seems a little long to just read through the whole thing, but it's definitely very spiritual in nature. Like it's about God, and it uses like the these and the thous, kind of like the King James Bible style. It looks like it was written in December of 1964.
Yeah. It is like the whole thing's the poem of A Love Supreme.
Yeah.
And it's him, like what he was feeling while he was writing it.
So it's kind of like he was having like a spiritual ecstatic experience, like
yeah.
up in his attic while he was practicing.
Yeah,
That's cool. And then the band listed.
Oh, I can tell you the band.
Okay.
So the band was his usual quartet. His usual quartet was John Coltrane, of course, on sax, on soprano sax. And then McCord Tyner was on piano, Jimmy Garrison on bass, and Elvin Jones on drums. It's kind of important to note that this is only 4 people because of how big you're gonna see, because of how big this sounds.
Yeah.
This album sounds huge.
So yeah,
for only 4 people.
So it's like, yeah, tenor sax, piano,
or tenor sax.
Yeah,
My
double bass, and then drums and percussion, basically.
Yeah, and
2 vocals. It looks like.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does like some. This is like the only time he's but it's not really like vocals.
I wonder.
You'll see what I mean.
Wonder how much breath control like the sax jazz players have to have.
Yeah.
Like how do their lungs handle that, especially since a lot of them are smokers or were smokers.
Yeah. Well, he I think because like I wonder if it's because like if you look at like live performances and stuff, they don't actually play the whole time.
Yeah.
They're usually like they have their little parts and then they are either like sitting down or like off to the side. But like, you know, the piano players and the bass player and drummer are playing the whole time.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, I don't know, but you're right. They do have to have a lot of breath control. Cause I've seen Miles Davis playing So What?
Yeah.
And like in the middle, like while John Coltrane's doing his sax solo, like he's lighting up a cigarette.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus, dude, you know you gotta blow again, right?
Yeah.
So it's for the personnel for like the actual like recording was Rudy Van Gelder, and this was actually done at his studio in Hackensack, New Jersey. Which is like one of the famous jazz studios at the time. He was the engineering and mastering, but this is actually a remaster, or you know. Bob Thiel was the production, and he did the cover photo as well. Greg Gray, Viceroy, did the cover design. Victor Kalin did the gatefold illustration, and Joe LeBeau did the liner design.
It is a really good charcoal drawing.
Yeah.
I almost would have gone with that as the cover, but I do like the cover photo too.
It's iconic now. Like the way it is now, it's like an iconic one. Vocals is a loose term. Because
spoken word pieces, I'm gonna guess.
Not really. It's,
okay.
You'll see it. It's in the only vocals are in the first part.
Okay.
And then also, I wanted to mention real quick, we're going to be listening to the mono version. I think the mono version, I like the mono version better. Some people like the stereo. I like the mono because it's more, seems more immediate.
More intimate, too.
Well, it's more like in your face kind of thing. I don't know. It's just my opinion. Some people like the stereo because it's a little bit more subdued, I think, in my opinion. I have both. I actually bought both just because I wanted to hear the difference.
Have you ever put them on 2 different turntables and started them at the same time?
I don't have 2 different turntables, so no.
Okay. It's really hard to get it exactly right. Like usually when you do it, you're just a little out of sync.
Yeah. But it's...
Just picturing DJ Sean in his basement now.
There's a lot of hip hop that's been influenced by jazz, and I always think that sounds cool.
Well, Herbie Hancock, there's a jazz track off of one of his albums, and the album or the song is called Cantaloupe Island.
Yeah.
There's a part in that that's been like used for hip hop a lot.
Like sampled, yeah.
Yeah, sampled. And then also he kind of came up with like some of the first like rap beat.
Yeah.
Like, and the song called Rocket. So
Yeah.
that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting.
A lot of like, sure, most people know this now, but like a lot of the early history of rap and hip hop was people whose parents couldn't afford to buy them instruments and they wanted to do music, so they started doing interesting things with their parents' records, and then like eventually started to be able to get like the cheaper drum machines and like putting over that, doing like extended dance breaks, and just by like cutting and pasting different pieces of existing songs into something new entirely. Then the MCs were more there to hype people up for the DJs, and then that flipped over the years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, like I said, this is like a suite. So like the first side, and the second side, there are 2 songs each. So this is like 4 tracks for the whole. And so, like I said, it's not listed. So I'm just going to tell you. But
Yeah.
part 1 is called Acknowledgement. And then part 2 is called Resolution. And I'll tell you when each one starts, because it's not exactly obvious, but it kind of obvious.
Yeah. That is the thing about jazz having so much improvisation is, like sometimes something like slowing down or coming back in a different key doesn't mean the song's over.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But the first side's a little bit more obvious than the second side.
Yeah, I'm seeing some listings of this album with the second side listed as one song with 2 names. But
Yeah. So yeah. Anything? What do you think, Steve?
Ready to give it a
whirl?
Give it a spin.
Give it a spin, yeah.
Like a DJ?
Yeah.
Wicka wicka wicka.
What jazz artists do you know better than most?
He's
I said earlier,
Yeah,
like Ringo
that's right,
Giant but
Yeah.
I also really liked Wes Montgomery's A Day in the Life of.
Yeah.
That was really good. I was also going to mention, like, I think part of the reason I like Black Sabbath so much is Bill Ward's got a jazz swing to his drumming.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think that makes them really stand out against their contemporaries.
I think Bill Ward was really influenced by Elvin Jones. A lot of people
Yeah, I think so.
cite Elvin Jones as one of their big influences. And when you listen to this, like Elvin Jones has a really big sound on his drumming.
Yeah.
Which is he's a really great drummer. Like all these guys together are really great. Like these 4 people were just like a big powerhouse jazz quartet. And like they did, like when he moved to Impulse, which is what this label is, because he moved from Atlantic and then moved to Impulse. Like he made up this quartet, and he got really comfortable with this quartet, and this is like it all kind of led up to this album, because he like basically assembled them, and they did like so many albums together and they clicked together, like, so yeah.
Nice.
And I think they only did like a couple more albums after this one before they kind of parted ways. And then actually he died so this came out in 65 and he died in 67.
Oof. Yeah.
So after, yeah.
And we die young.
Yeah. So, all right, we'll talk more about that after we listen to Acknowledgement and Resolution.
All right, let's get this started.
And we're back from side one of A Love Supreme.
A
by
Love
John
Supreme.
Coltrane.
A Love Supreme.
I see what you mean by the vocals. Yeah, that was like a chant, like a like a sing chant, like a church chant.
Yeah. So that's kind of, you're right. It is kind of because
Liturgical chant. There we go.
Because this whole record is kind of a sermon. Because the start of it's kind of like the opening of the church doors.
Yeah,
Because it has that big burn.
yeah,
And it's the acknowledgement, like when you go into the church and you're sitting there, it's like the opening passages,
yeah,
and then you got the resolution, and then
yeah. It's a church service.
yeah. So, but yeah, whoever is at the record mirror, they can suck my dick. 3 out of 5 stars.
They're
Fuck
probably
you.
dead.
Well,
They wrote that in 1965.
well, I hope they are dead. I hope you're dead, and I hope it hurt.
Let's see. Can we read it? Let me see. Archive from the original in a PDF.
Oh, that is a yellowed piece of paper.
Exciting LP from Unit 4+2. Who?
Who the fuck
I don't
is
know who
that?
that is.
Oh, okay. So it's just like a bunch of
Little blurbs. Ah, here it is.
Yeah, it is.
Pixel.
They gave Wes Montgomery 4 stars. Moving. Love Supreme, Acknowledgement, Resolution, Pursuance to Song. Tenor sax along with bass, John Coltrane, blah, 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 blah. This album is humble, offering to God an attempt to say thank you to God through our work, even though, as we do in our hearts, and the powerful ramblings through resolution segments are excellent in Coltrane, but we will derive most pleasure, not really for the fringe fan.
Okay, so it's for the hardcore fans, is basically what they thought.
That was
Probably the people who told you not to start with it.
Yeah,
agreed with that.
That was a shitty review.
There's not much to it as a review. It's like a paragraph. Anywho.
Yeah. Caravan's a worthy sample. That is a good song. If you haven't heard Caravan. I've heard the Art Blakey version. I haven't heard the Wes Montgomery version. I actually have to hear that.
Check out A Day in the Life. It's also got a couple good Beatles covers on it too.
Oh, well, A Day in the Life.
Yeah.
All right.
But as far as this record, I really liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
It reminds me of the music in SimCity 3000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very similar vibe there. So, of course, that reminds me of the hours and hours I've spent building fake cities in that game, which I still think is at least the SimCity that I enjoy the most. I know it's gotten really downhill since that one came out.
I mean, that's the last good one. Yeah. Yeah.
Musically, it's not structured like a typical rock or pop song, whereas I'd say it's more of a piece, kind of like the backing band's making a soundscape for the saxophone to play over. Basically, you don't really know where it's going to go, which I really like. The musicians are all playing with a sense of urgency that I really like, especially the drums and the piano.
Yeah.
And I like how, the instruments all weave in and out of each other. So, at certain points, the saxophone's the most prominent overall, but there are moments where you could hear, the piano come up and be featured. And the bass has a really nice thump to it as well that I really liked.
The bass was really good at grounding everything, especially as the piano and drums got more like chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bass kind of holds it together. I say that it's kind of it is kind of because it even like when it starts, you know, like because it's like the first song, Acknowledgement starts with that big burn, and then it all cuts out and it's just the bass going do 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 do. Doom, 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 which is like the recurring theme of Acknowledgement, which if you hear it, it's like a love supreme,
Yeah.
a love supreme, and even when it comes back to before he starts the chant, even the saxophone starts going. Bum, 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 bum.
It is,
and so it does have some like resolution in that way.
I was reading on
And the piano does it too. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was reading on Wikipedia that there were two different versions of Acknowledgement. And one was the one that we got on this album, and the other one was basically the same without the chant. And he said he liked the chant more, so that's what made the record.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the chant makes more sense.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting that he did like an album about God and going to church, and then like a couple years later he was working with Sun Ra doing his, you know, like synthesizers and futurism thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well,
not that those are necessarily incompatible, but they're kind of
Yeah.
different. They're in much different like territory in terms of just like the general vibe.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't also just about it also wasn't just about like Christianity too.
No, yeah, like spiritual, like
he's because he's talking about he talks about like God in like a metaphysical sense.
Yeah.
So he's like not really going just Christianity in this too. If you kind of read the insert, it's like,
but he is evoking it, like
yeah,
by making it sound like going to church, even without having an organ, kind of giving like the same sound and feel of like a big church organ, and then like using the these and thous in the poem. Yeah.
You were saying about the drums though, Steve.
What was I saying about the drums?
That you wish you could play drums like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of moments in my own drumming where I try to invoke like a jazzier feel, which I just find more interesting to play. And I love it when drums have a swing to it. It's my favorite kind of drums.
His like Elvin Jones drumming is like amazing because I have a live album with Coltrane and Elvin Jones, like it's this quartet plus Eric Dolphy. I don't know if you know who that is, but so this
the listener might not.
What's that?
Say for the listener.
Yeah, it's safer. I'm talking about you though.
Oh yeah.
But if you guys know who Eric Dolphy, he's also a jazz guy. He worked with Coltrane a lot. He actually was on Coltrane's first Impulse album, but he played under a pseudonym because he was under contract, so he couldn't play. But he has a really famous album on Blue Note called "Out to Lunch." But Eric Dolphy and Coltrane would do a lot of live shows together. So there's a live at the Village Vanguard or the Village Inn, I think. Something like that. Village Inn.
I'm going to get an omelet.
Get an omelet.
I'm not
sure
toast.
if that's right. I don't know. It's Village something. Village Gate. Village Gate. That's it. Village Gate.
That's something we kind of lost in our modern era is like you can't really have people like secretly appear on albums anymore because it'll just leak immediately and everybody will sue each other.
Yeah. They would do this thing in live shows where it would just cut out and it would just be John Coltrane and Elvin Jones playing sax and drums together.
Yeah.
And it just sounded like completely like mesmerizing almost. I guess that's the best word I can say. So, I mean, track by track.
Track by track, yeah.
I mean, there's only 2 tracks.
Yeah.
Acknowledgement.
I liked how it built to the vocals, to the chant.
Yeah.
Bass had a like good groove to it for this one, and I liked the way it would pick up in the dynamics, and everyone would exchange spots in the spotlight, even though like saxophone was definitely in it the most, but you could definitely like pick apart all the parts, which I like the more minimalistic approach to it. Like just have the 4 in there, and I can see this rewarding a lot of listens through again, so that you can try to pick out what's out of the spotlight sometimes too.
Yeah, they're all playing their asses off on it, I can tell. I wish the drums were a little more up front on it. I noticed on the next track they were a bit more up front, so I'm not sure if maybe those were 2 different sessions. But despite that, I mean, I thought the piano and drum interplay was great, and it really created a great canvas for the sax to bounce off of. The sax was played in this urgent, unpredictable way that was really enjoyable. And like you both said, the bass really held it together and kept it kind of grounded while everybody was kind of off exploring their own little sections of the song, you know?
Yeah, if you thought the drums were low on this, if I would have brought in the stereo, you would have thought the drums were like almost non-existent, because the separation in the stereo, drums are on one side, Coltrane's on another side, and like the piano's in the middle.
They really didn't know what to do with stereo when they first got it.
Yeah.
that sounds kind of random.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's so the stereo, like that's why I brought in the mono, because the mono sounds fuller.
I remember when me and my buddy were listening to Sgt. Pepper's, he was just like, hey, check this out, and he would turn it all the way, I think, to the left, and it would mute Paul McCartney's vocals so you couldn't hear him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I brought in the mono, because I think the mono brings everyone out more. Yeah. But I mean, like, people who have like hi-fi systems, like really like where it's like, you know, I got a 15 grand stereo and like speakers that can turn up to 11, you know,
Yeah.
Then yeah, okay, it sounds like you got the sound stage and you can hear where everyone's at. But if we're listening on what we're listening on to, the mono is going to bring everything out a little bit better.
Yeah.
But I mean, it depends on also the pressing we're listening to as well. Yeah. But I think the mono on A Love Supreme sounds better than the stereo, in my opinion.
I hear that from a lot of people that talk about records from that era in general. It seems like the mono is the preferred version by a lot of people.
Yeah. But yeah, for the first one, Acknowledgement, I like that the interplay between the drums and the piano in it, and then I love the little nuances that, because the piano does, I know because you guys haven't heard it as much, that the piano does in the background sometimes go do 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 and kind of do the theme in the background, while Coltrane is overhead doing his saxophone solo, and his soloing is like completely like passionate and stuff like that. He's just like blowing his ass off, and it just like he had like, it seemed like every time you hear him playing, it was like he's giving 100%, and it's like he didn't slack off even for a second.
I also felt like this would be a good candidate to give the vaporwave treatment to, and chop it and screw it and slow it down. And
I also
the look on Sean's face is just.
I also
abject
think
horror.
This is a good candidate to chop your dick off with.
Yeah.
I love Supreme, Preme. I love Supreme.
How about we kill
Steve?
Steve?
I'm too close to Steve for you to stab him right now.
Yes.
Dave would defend my right to vaporwave something to his death.
Yeah. Resolution. One thing I noticed about Resolution right away was the in Acknowledgement, the bass had more of a groove, and Resolution had more of a pulse.
Yeah. And then it also started with kind of a bass solo, too.
Yeah.
I assume it's an upright bass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a, yeah.
Double bass, yeah.
It was basically just bass. Like, there wasn't a whole lot of, like, treble or mid to it in its frequency, I noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what they like I said, for four basically acoustic instruments, because, none of them were electric.
It was all mic'd, yeah.
Yeah, it was all mic'd. They have a huge sound for how big, because the saxophone's acoustic, the bass is just a upright bass, no electronics.
No pickups.
The piano is just a grand piano, and then the drums, acoustic drums. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is also why, going a couple of years later, working with Sunrise, such a contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say this about on this song, the pianist, I could tell, was making really good use out of both of his hands.
Oh, yeah.
And that it almost like gives you like a fifth member when you're that like proficient.
Yeah, McCoy Tyner had a great solo on this song.
The piano was the standout instrument to me on this particular song.
Yeah.
Resolution. Coltrane has a pretty good when it kicks in with the rest of the band, he has a good entrance, but then he lets the rest of the members have their time.
Yeah.
Like he letting the bass player do his thing at the beginning, then he has that good kick in, and then letting the piano player have his solo.
Yeah.
And then the drummer, Elvin Jones, Jimmy Garrison's the bass player, by the way. And then Jimmy Garrison, the bass player, has like really thumping, and then like McCoy Tyner, like kicking ass on the keyboards.
Yeah.
Well, not keyboards, but piano.
The grand piano, or the baby grand, whichever it was in the studio. Yeah.
I think it was a
full grand.
It's probably a full grand, because if I remember right, because they have pictures of them, and I've seen pictures of the piano that was at Rudy Van Gelder's studio.
Rudy Giuliani's studio.
The hair dye leaking.
It was
out
in
its
New
ears.
Jersey. It was in New Jersey, so it's pretty close to.
Rudy Giuliani was alive in 1964. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Van Gelder, he recorded a lot of classic jazz albums. He actually recorded like Kinda Blue, and like he recorded a lot of those classic albums. Like almost all the Blue Note albums were recorded by him. So yeah, he was responsible for like the sound of jazz back in the 50s and 60s.
So he's like to jazz what Ross Robinson is to nu metal.
Yeah.
But and he was prolific, because I mean, if you look at how like he would do sessions and like knock people out, but it's so funny looking at how they did things back then, because it would be like they would have a leader, but then they would just throw like people on there, but it would be like these guys that are like, it'd be like, Art Blakey, but then it would be like these people that are like grand masters at their craft,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different world than what you typically read about with like modern, I don't know, like rock music.
Well, yeah, because
I mean modern in like the 70s onward sense.
It would be kind of like the Beatles playing on the Rolling Stones album or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's kind of like, you know, it'd be like them like switching members or something like that. It was just kind of, they would just play on each other's albums.
Well, and jazz, it was more about like loose collectives. Like there were, you know, like regular bands like this, but it was oftentimes, you know, just like different people who knew each other,
Yeah.
guesting on each other's albums a lot.
Kind of
Like-
reminds me of the rap world a little bit.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah. Like Coltrane got his start like they called it the first great quintet
Yeah.
with Miles Davis's first great quintet, and it was him, Paul Chambers on bass, Coltrane, who was awesome? Red Garland on piano, and I forgot who the other guy was.
At what point?
Art Taylor,
Yeah.
I think, on drums.
At what point did guitars start to come more into jazz?
Well, they still were in jazz, but
They still were, but
yeah, like
Well, I mentioned Charlie Christian earlier, and he was kind of that would have been what 30s, 20s or 30s.
yeah, Charlie Christian was like 30s. Django Reinhardt was like 20s and 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant like
And-
electric guitar. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, like
Well, like Wes Montgomery, he played an electric guitar.
in the late 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like a guy that was really prominent was this guy named Grant Green and Kenny Burrell were two guys that were really prominent in the hard bop era.
Yeah.
But it was like sometimes they were on albums, sometimes sometimes they were just like, no, we're just doing horns, you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the interesting thing about Charlie Christian is his playing was trying to emulate the horn section,
Yeah. Well, and
and that was like at the time that was unheard of. Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be like, "Why aren't you playing chords?"
but like I think a lot of times they're probably like, well, we don't really need guitar.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. We're not rock and roll, or
Yeah.
I have no idea why guitar wasn't more prominent. But like Miles Davis, he didn't really have. I could be wrong, and people will probably be like, "You're fucking wrong," but I know he didn't really start having more guitar until like the later '60s.
Yeah.
Because I know he had one of my favorite albums was like In a Silent Way, and then he had on Bitches Brew he had John, like In a Silent Way he had John McLaughlin, and then Bitches Brew is when he had John McLaughlin too, and that's you know.
Well, they did tell the Beatles that that guitar music was on the way out.
Yeah.
But like Miles in the Sky was I don't think they had guitar on there, but that was actually like he was emulating the Beatles a bit because he took the name of that from Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm just wondering, like, at what point since, like, seeing the yellowed pages of that magazine where jazz albums are being reviewed alongside rock albums, like, is like how much were they taking from each other is one thing I was wondering, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
much were they
I know. Like
influencing each other?
Wes Montgomery, Kenny Burrell, and Grant Green were all like releasing albums in the late 50s.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Kenny Burrell is actually still alive today.
Oh, nice.
He's older guy, but he's still alive.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that's a statistical anomaly there.
Um,
Jazz guys had basically the same survival rate of grunge members.
Well, Sonny Rollins, he just passed away. Like not too like this last month. Sonny Rollins was a saxophone guy who was in his 90s. He was in his 90s, but he played with Miles Davis and stuff like that. He was a big influence on people.
Yeah.
One of his biggest albums was like Saxophone Colossus. It was a great album.
Mussolini's son played jazz, which is weird.
Oh, European jazz from like the 30s was a lot different. It was a lot more like
European.
Yeah.
I'm not European. European.
it was a lot more like tame and commercial. It was like an emulation. It was like a poor emulation of what like Black American musicians were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia, pizza pie. That's the kind of jazz he was playing. No, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, but getting back to Coltrane, like some of his first albums were really hard bop, and he like had really didn't develop he was kind of more, he still hadn't really developed his sound until he started really like working with, like, until he kicked he had a habit of heroin, and he really didn't start developing his sound until he kicked his habit and he was working with Miles Davis and Thelonious Monk.
Oh yeah.
Because he was working with Miles Davis before, but Miles Davis kicked him out because of his habit.
I think it would be really hard to play with someone who is on heroin.
Yeah. Well, Miles Davis was on heroin too.
Yeah.
And Miles Davis, like, I think he relapsed later on or something,
Yeah.
or had some other drug issues. But like, but yeah, like Coltrane back in the mid 50s had a drug habit, and so, but this is actually relevant to A Love Supreme.
Yeah.
Because in the mid 50s he kicked his habit, and that was when he had his spiritual awakening, which kind of led to this album, A Love Supreme.
Yeah.
And that's what he called his spiritual awakening. And it took him that long to develop his sound. It took him almost 10 years to develop his sound and develop what he wanted it to sound like.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's why it took, when he had his spiritual awakening, it took almost 10 years to get to this album that meant so much to him.
Yeah. Also probably that deeply personal, why he didn't want to play it live very much.
Yeah, because it was so deeply personal to him. So, let's finish it up. And
Oh, real quick, how I knew European jazz in the 30s was bad was there's this German Jewish philosopher named Theodor Adorno who wrote a bunch of like really disparaging things about jazz as a genre, and a lot of people pointed out, okay, so when he was in Germany, he was talking about this really bland commercial jazz that was in Germany, and that he saw like people who became prominent in the Nazi party listening to and all that, and it was just like this bland, edgeless stuff. And then he just refused to see what good jazz was when he moved to the States after the war.
Oh yeah, that'll do it. Because after the war, it was really when jazz started, like this kind of jazz started really developing.
Yeah.
Because before it was the big band jazz.
Yeah.
And Miles Davis really was one of the ones that, and like Charlie Parker, the Bird.
Yeah.
He's the one that kind of started bringing it down to a smaller size, because the big bands were no longer like commercially viable, because like that's why rock music was taken over. It was because they could hire schlubs with guitars that would make a bigger sound, and then they're like we got to be able to compete with that. So they're like, well, we can be a 4-piece and quintet and all that.
I like the smaller jazz bands more than the big band stuff, because I like the kind of jazz I can listen to at a cocktail bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what they had. They started to try. They wanted to compete with that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Side 2, 2 more songs. Part 3 is Pursuance, and part 4 is Psalm.
And it's harder to tell when one begins and the other ends.
I'll let you know when one ends and one begins. because I've heard it enough where I know where the end. It might be easy to tell you where it begins and ends. So, all right, guys.
All right.
All right, here we go. And we're back from side 2.
Woohoo!
Ooh.
I should say side B.
Side B.
A Love Supreme.
What'd you guys think?
That was really good. Yeah.
I think I like that side a little more than the first side.
Yeah, a little more. Although it's not like a huge difference in quality. Yeah.
All still good, yeah.
Yeah. I think I like the second side more because I liked that ending, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more subdued ending, but it's like, yeah.
It feels like a good closing statement on the whole thing, though. But
Yeah.
What'd you think, Steven?
Well, there are a lot of little. It's hard to say what like my overall thoughts are, since it kind of applies to like both of them more or less. But I mean, that was a pretty epic side of music.
Yeah.
Sounded pretty big.
It's pretty nuanced. Actually, listening to it this time, I picked up on some things that I hadn't noticed before, too. So, and I'll talk about those when we go by some of the... I actually picked up more in Psalm than I did in the other one, but yeah.
What do you think, Flexo?
I think he enjoyed it because he sat there on your lap the whole time.
Yeah.
He did get mad when I started playing with his tail. Which
Yeah.
is 2/3 the size of a normal cat tail, so I like to call him Stubby.
Isn't that what he calls you?
Yeah.
He's like, you jerking the chicken there, Stubby. But yeah, this I don't know, like it's hard for me to pick a side too or say which one I think is better because I feel like it's a whole piece.
It definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the first time I listened to it streaming, and actually like the first side and second side, like it like goes right into each other.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if it was more, yeah, it was probably more or less meant to be like 40 minutes rather than two
Yeah.
20-minute sides. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, the whole album together is 32 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Okay, 2 15-minute sides.
Yeah. So it's fairly
It's pretty
short.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so epic. It's not like it feels long, but it doesn't feel like it should be that short. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't know.
No, yeah, it feels like it conveys like
so much in that little amount of time.
Yeah.
For music that doesn't even have words, except for like the chant,
love supreme.
a love supreme. Actually, after I was listening to it, I kept chanting a love supreme, or I'd be like a pup supreme to Penny.
Yes.
I'd be like a pup supreme.
And then she was like, then she ran off and
quickly track by track.
Yes.
Or not quickly, but track by track.
Pursuance, I really like the killer drum intro on it.
Oh yeah,
Like-
killer drum solo.
Really highlighted the dude's ability.
Yeah.
And then like the sax and the rest of the instruments just like slam in, and it plays like a pretty high energy section. Then it focuses on the piano for a bit before going back to the horn section, and it ends with a pretty interesting bass line, I think.
Yeah, kind of wind down bass solo thing. I liked the point where the piano is kind of soloing in between the two sax parts, where I like the low end, it was like these kind of brief kind of staccato like stabs, and then on the high end it was a lot of kind of like fluid playing.
I knew this like because I've listened to this album quite a few times. The bass player Jimmy Garrison, there's a lot of great bass work in this album.
Yeah, he does.
And he really gets to shine in this album, I think.
Yeah.
he does really good in the other albums too, but I feel like surprisingly enough, he gets really gets to shine in this one.
This guy's played on a lot of
Oh.
albums.
Yeah. Jazz guys just
Dude.
played a lot.
And he died young, so
Yeah.
You look at like Coltrane's or like any jazz players like discography, and it's like
yeah.
like Miles Davis discography is like he's played on like 100 albums or some shit like that.
Man, we're slackers.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, like Coltrane's discography is crazy. I know you don't have it up here, but I can see it in the mirror, kind of. I don't think it says, yes.
45 studio albums, 11 live albums,
compilation albums. I don't think those really count, though.
No.
But those studio albums are just the ones that he was like the leader of.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of them were ones that like
Well, appearances must be like when he's on somebody else's.
Yeah.
That's 59.
And so he died at 40, and he had 45 albums that he was the band leader on. That's more albums than years he lived.
Okay, so a lot of times though, what they would do,
He must have been a workaholic.
no, a lot of times what they would do is they would record multiple sessions, right?
Yeah.
And then they would like after he went like so his first like record label was Prestige. And so like Prestige like had Coltrane was his debut, self-titled, right? So then he recorded a bunch of songs with Prestige, and after he got big, they cobbled together albums from stuff he recorded with them,
Yeah.
and released them later after he was getting bigger.
Yeah, I think that was pretty common. Yeah.
So like there's like the ones that he released while he was actually under contract. So like Atlantic did the same thing. So there's Giant Step, Coltrane Jab, my favorite things, Ole Coltrane. That was while he was under contract. But then there's other albums they released from stuff that he recorded that they just coupled together.
Yeah.
So there's like Coltrane Blues. So those are the compilations.
He put out 4 albums in 1966, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
4.
Yep. He was very prolific with Impulse. Yeah, live at the Village Vanguard. Again. But, like, I mean, he died in 67, so that he probably knew he was... so, he died in 67 of pancreatic cancer. And it was probably due to his heroin use back in the 50s.
Yeah, that's pancreatic cancer that young can often be something catching up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably why he passed away so young. But yeah. They say he was really a quiet guy.
That's what I've heard too. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories about him, I have like 2 like stories that I heard about him that I think are hilarious. One of my favorite was Miles Davis like asked him why he would solo for so long, and he told Miles Davis, I can't seem to stop once I start. And Miles Davis said, just take the horn out your mouth. And then the second one was the guy from David Crosby from Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Yeah. And Young. Yeah.
And Young, if you want to go that far.
I mean, Young was the best songwriter out of those 4. But yeah.
But like, I guess he saw him at some club, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the bathroom, and like Coltrane was playing, and like he had to go to the bathroom, so he went in the bathroom, and all of a sudden, like Coltrane like busts the door open, is like playing like really loud. He's like, he didn't even know if Coltrane knew he was there.
Yeah.
But Coltrane was just like wanting to get the best sound. So he was just like running around the bar because he was just so impassioned about what he was doing.
Tile bathroom, you can get really good sound out of.
Yeah. So he was just, but that was just kind of what they said the kind of player he was. So, all right. So I don't think, did we finish Psalm? Let's do Psalm.
Psalm. I really liked Psalm. I liked that gong at the beginning. I think that was the only one that started on sax, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of the bluesiest one.
Yeah. It felt really triumphant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, I was thinking of like black and white noir type music. Like I was picturing somebody walking down like a rainy street, especially later on, like when I think it was either the bass drum or a big giant tom drum. It sounded like a storm kind of.
Yeah, he was playing with mallets. You can tell he's playing the toms with mallets and the cymbals. So
yeah.
He's probably even hitting the bass drum with them, probably.
That's a different sound, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded bigger than a floor tom, so.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that one does sound great. The things I noticed different with this time was like the bass did this really cool like walk down, like do 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 do.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Coltrane did like this little flare, and it's the same notes that he starts the album with.
Yeah.
The da-na-na-na, it was almost like the reverse da-na-na-na.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I never noticed that before.
It's the church doors closing.
Yeah. I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
I liked what the double bass was doing at the end there too, like in the wind down.
He was like doing like almost like a roll on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
It was fantastic. I would definitely buy it again.
Buy it a third time?
Yeah, buy it a third time. I love this album. I think it's a fantastic album.
There might be a 5.1 surround sound mix.
I don't know.
Well, I wonder what they recorded it on. Like,
It was 2-track.
2-track, okay.
Or 3-track or something like that. They did like 3-track.
So they probably just put a couple microphones around the room.
And then for the mono mix, they basically folded it down. So he recorded in stereo and then folded down into mono.
Did he the chant part? Did he do that into the mic? That
He did it after.
Yeah, I was gonna say was he using his sax mic or did he overdub? He overdubbed.
He overdubbed.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounded too good for him just to be grabbing a sax mic.
It's easier to tell it's an overdub in the stereo version.
Oh, yeah, I bet, yeah. It sits in a different place, yeah.
So, yes, I was going to talk about this, too.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
So, this album was, like I said, this album was kind of the start of spiritual jazz. And he's actually been, like, there's churches that have been started, and he's like Saint Coltrane.
Yeah.
And I've made the joke to Dee Dee that I'm going to go pray to Saint Coltrane.
Nice.
But yeah, he's actually, there's a church in, I think it's San Francisco, where they'll go and have service, and instead of like church music, they play Coltrane's music.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And I want to go there. Like, I'm not religious at all. Like, I don't believe in that stuff, but I would totally go to a St. Coltrane church.
Where's the closest one?
I don't know. I only know about the one in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But,
I like that picture.
I think Reverend F.W. King. Yeah, I watched a little thing about it, but I thought it was cool that he started a movement, like the people that started the church that I saw this like mini documentary or something like that. They actually he had played in San Francisco, and they watched him play, and they were so moved by his music that's what made him start the church. Because some people believe that they believe that he was like God, like
Inspired.
to the notes that came out of his saxophone.
Saxophone.
But I mean, I probably have between him and Miles Davis, I probably collected the most albums from, and Art Blakey.
You gotta get the complete set.
Dude,
Good luck.
yeah, good fucking luck.
I've had a lot of it's out of print.
Oh yeah. Everything that I've been trying to get as much that's in print as I can, but I mean that's all.
Yeah. I'm sure that each label debuts in print.
I can tell you what I don't have. Like most of that.
Oh, these are all the ones that
those are the
I have Soul Train.
yeah.
I don't have any of those. I have Lush Life. No. Blue Train. I have Blue Train. No. Giant Steps, Coltrane Jazz, my favorite thing. Ole. Yep, I have all three. No, I don't have Avant-Garde. I have Blue.
I'm curious about that one.
Coltrane Plays the Blues and Coltrane Sound. Both excellent. Very good.
So I like blues a lot. So.
African Brass and Coltrane, I have both those. Duke Ellington, John Coltrane, I have Ballad. Impressions, actually a new release of that is coming out, and I have it pre-ordered. I don't have the Coltrane and Johnny Hartman because that's vocal jazz, and I'm not too big on vocal jazz. Maybe I should get it, but I don't know.
You gotta get all of them or you're not a real fan.
I don't think anyone has all of them. Maybe his estate.
Okay, there was this guy, and I watched. I could only.
There's got to be a few people that has every single one.
So okay, there's this guy who's like a mega Coltrane fan.
Yeah,
and you can look him up on YouTube, and he went through and he has like almost every recording that like he could find of Coltrane. Like not all of it's on record, but like some of it's on CD, some of it's like whatever, but like it was like insane. He sat there and like for an hour, it's like an hour-long video. I couldn't watch the whole thing because like he's like, this is the first time Coltrane was recorded on. Then you have to do this to get it. You have to buy this box set to get this one recording that Coltrane did. I'm like, holy shit, dude. Okay.
Yeah. What else is on that box set?
Mega fan. And he's like, yeah, it's like mega fan. So, yeah. He's like, I tried to get it, I had to get it, this whole box set. I had all the other songs, but except for this one, and it's the only way you can get this one song. It's like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah, and he probably spent thousands of dollars on it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
See, being a Black Sabbath mega fan's a lot easier because all of their records are easy to find.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, getting some original like, it'd be different if you're like, I want to get all the original pressings of Coltrane, because like, if you look up like trying to get like a Blue Train original pressing, that's like $15,000.
I was gonna say that's gotta be nuts.
Because like, well, in good condition where you can actually listen to it, I should say. You could probably get like a shitty one that's in like bad condition, but like I'm good with the reissue one that cost me $30, so I'm good with that one. I'm good with something I can listen to, you know?
That's the most important part for me is I'm not really much of a collector these days. I want like records I'll listen to a whole bunch over and over again. So, you know, I don't mind accumulating a bunch of those, but I mean, primarily I just want to listen to them. I mean, there's a few things in my collection that are like, oh, this is kind of rare. That's kind of cool. But
I think I'm kind of the same way. I'm like, it's cool that it's rare, but I am more like I want to listen to it.
Yeah.
Even if it is rare, I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put it on the old turntable and fucking listen to it.
I like people that buy like a sealed copy of something.
I'm opening it the fuck up
Yeah. Why does it exist?
to be
What
listened to. Yeah, you
Yeah,
buy a
it's-
sealed thing, you open it up, and it's fucking warped.
Yeah. The use value.
Well, I hear from like video game collectors that they'll spend hundreds of dollars on a physical copy of something, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I don't play it. I just play off my EverDrive. I just like how it looks on my shelf." And I'm like,
Why? Then don't buy it. Just have it on the EverDrive.
I mean, that's the direction I went. I realized I wasn't playing any of my physical games, and I have an EverDrive for most of my system. So it was like, why should I keep this collection around? Like, at least I listen to my records, you know?
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to like the fact that I can go downstairs, put a record on, and read my book and like leave my phone upstairs and like I'm completely analog,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, instead of like having this fucking thing attached to my hip, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
So
when you listen to music on your phone, like you'll be interrupted with notifications and shit. I mean, that doesn't happen when you're listening to a record.
No.
you may get interrupted by a or something like that, but you're like,
You may
whatever.
get interrupted by a dog.
Yeah, she does like to do that. She's like, you're not paying enough attention to me,
It's time.
Papa.
It's time to crop dust you.
Yes.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, oh, fucker.
Ziggy Crop Dust.
Oh man, he he lives up to that name sometimes.
Yeah.
Little shit, little shitski. He's a little traitor too. He like fucking he's Dee Dee's dog now.
Nice.
Cause he always like tries to sleep with Dee Dee instead of like where he's supposed to be. But yeah, it's fucking shit.
So yeah, John Coltrane, some pretty awesome sax playing. Backing band ain't no slouches either.
No.
Definitely recommend checking this one out if you're into mostly instrumental music. I assume if you're into like prog, this would be right up your alley.
If you're really interested in what you can hear a rhythm section do, this is a great album.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're really interested in like what acoustic instruments can do, instruments that don't need electronics, like, because this is 4 guys playing instruments that are not plugged in
In the same room.
It's basically, and they're live.
Yeah.
The only thing that was like overdub was Coltrane doing a chant.
Yeah.
Everything else was live together.
Which I think is great. I think we've lost a lot of that in the modern era. Like pretty much everybody records separately now, and I just like the idea of everybody in the same room is playing, and what's recorded is what's recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basic-
sometimes people aren't even in the same fucking state.
Yeah. This is basically, a live in the studio album. Yeah.
Like almost all the jazz that you hear back in the day was live in the studio. Like live, how many ever people, if they felt like they had a hole somewhere, they would put in another person, you know?
Well, and you also find out stuff like Tom Araya from Slayer hasn't been playing bass on their albums since the early 90s. Like just one of the guitar players, or Kerry King just did it. And I don't know, I find that shit kind of frustrating. It's like, if you don't care about your product, why should I?
Yeah. So I think that's why I kind of started getting into jazz, just because I think it's so like it's so fascinating to hear these guys they're in the same room. They're doing something that's not really done today, you know.
I just like how expressive it is.
And
Yeah.
and you
There were like a lot of moments where they were putting accents on certain points and they were playing off each other and whatnot. And yeah, it's just something that's missing from music today, I think.
like I mean like you really feel the passion that a lot of these guys have when you listen to a really good, like even like some of the like all the recordings I've heard, or like a lot of the records I got, like they just sound like they're really passionate about what they're doing and they love what they're doing. So yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating to me that
To be
and I feel
as involved in as many records as he was, I mean, you really got to have the passion.
yeah. And I feel like that Kenny G fucked it up for him. And fuck you, Kenny G, you fucking fuck. You curly-haired fuck. I hope you fucking
Stub your
get
toe.
nut cancer and it hurts.
Ouch.
Ouch.
And you have to get your balls removed. Anyways,
That's pretty harsh.
I didn't want. Well, I said he didn't. I didn't say die.
Yeah.
I just said nut cancer, and he has to get his balls removed. I didn't wish death upon him.
I wish horrible pain upon you, but not death.
Yeah. There you go.
There's our clip for the sound collage at the end. I didn't wish death upon him.
Anyways, John Coltrane, love you, bud.
Yeah. Listen to this record.
And anything Coltrane, I also recommend like Giant Steps album or My Favorite Things. Great albums too. So yeah.
If you like John Coltrane, you probably wouldn't like our band.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't like our band. I wouldn't recommend it.
I play the jazz set on our song Art of Loving Correction, so that's kind of jazzy.
I play jazz chords on that song, so there you go.
Yeah.
But I play them evilly.
Evil jazz. There's a lot of evil jazz, though.
If you like jazz, you might like Lucid Fugue, though. There's a lot of moments that reminded me of the weird nonsense Dave and I do in that group.
If you like Bitches Brew, you might like Lucid Fugue.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Catch you on the flip side.
Fuck off, guys.
Side 1, Side B is a Floof Goof Studios production. Head on over to killrockmusic.com, that's KILRAVOCK music.com, to check out our post-punk band, The Alliterates, and Steve's solo project, Killrock. You can also check out Steve and Dave's experimental project, Lucid Fugue, where the theme song comes from, at lucidfugue.bandcamp.com. You can also check out Dave's old band, Gong Farmer, at gongfarmer.bandcamp.com, spelled GONGFERMOUR. You can find each of us on various social media platforms. Check out the description for more information. Thanks.
Lick my love pump.
This music really makes me hate the centralized bank.
Sunday morning.
All hail to Sean.
All hell to Shaw.
Don't forget to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
Doctor Who. Hey, the TARDIS.
What the hell was that?
What the hell was that?
What the fuck was that?
Bluesky is German, yeah. Not really.
Oh, no, they're from Minnesota.
1-2-XU.
How does it feel?
Ziggy, help me!
This ain't your papa's Black Sabbath. We ain't dinosaurs now.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
You knew right away.
Got hit by the lights.
Yeah.
Rev up like a douche.
Where the fuck is the beefy bag?
Sir, you're just a lieutenant. Shut up.
Goddamn wolf penis blue, yeah.
Satan.
Satan. Burn.
Yeah. Sitting on a park bench.
Oh my God.
Don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Baby.
You don't want to talk about my penis?
I'm married, sir.
I love Supreme, Preme. I love Supreme.
How about we
Preme,
kill
Preme,
Steve?
Preme.